Think about the last time you laughed. Chances are someone told a joke or you saw something amusing. We treat laughter as a reflex, an involuntary physical reaction triggered by the world around us. Researchers identified a silent physiological crisis accompanying this drop in laughter. When these opportunities for mirth disappear, stress hormones are allowed to accumulate. This buildup is associated with increased vascular restriction and a weakened immune response. If laughter is this vital for our long-term health, relying on something as unpredictable as our sense of humor leaves our well-being up to chance. This biological reliance on laughter sparked a dedicated field of medical research called gelotology, the formal scientific study of laughter from a strictly physiological perspective. In 1995, an Indian physician named Madan Kataria took the science a step further. He invented laughter yoga, a practice stripping away the jokes. Participants gather and execute prolonged, voluntary laughter exercises. This raises a strange biological question. Can the purely mechanical, faked act of laughing somehow trick human biology into healing itself? To answer that, we have to look at what laughter actually is. It is an intense physical exertion. A deep laugh forces the rapid contraction of over 300 individual facial and skeletal muscles across the body. It completely overrides your normal respiratory patterns, forcing heavy contractions of the diaphragm that pull massive amounts of oxygen-rich blood deep into the lungs. Inside the cardiovascular system, this creates flow-mediated vasodilation. The physical motion exercises the heart, widening the blood vessels to accommodate the surge of oxygenated blood. This is the exact opposite of a stress response, where the body tightly constricts those same vessels and chokes off blood flow. The power of this physiological response gained medical attention in 1964, when a journalist named Norman Cousins was diagnosed with a crippling inflammatory joint disease. Cousins treated himself with a steady diet of comedy films. He claimed that just 10 minutes of hearty laughter flooded his system with natural endorphins and natural killer cells, yielding 2 straight hours of pain-free sleep. A heavy laugh acts as a measurable cardiovascular workout that alters blood flow and dampens pain receptors, entirely separate from whatever made the person smile in the first place. But Cousins used Marx Brothers movies to trigger his recovery. This left researchers with a key variable to untangle. Was it the comedy that induced the healing, or the repetitive muscle movements? The answer lies in what researchers call the motion creates emotion theory, or MCET. The core premise of MCET is radical, but backed by neuroimaging and biological data. Your body literally does not know the difference between a spontaneous laugh and a simulated one. The sheer physical mechanics of faking a laugh engage the parasympathetic nervous system, initiating the body's built-in rest and digest protocol. Clinical trial data confirms this. This study compares a group practicing simulated laughter yoga against a control group. The yoga group experienced a significantly greater drop in systolic blood pressure and cortisol levels. These metrics prove the physical act alone coaxes human biology into an identical physiologic response to genuine joy. Humor is merely an external catalyst for an internal biological protocol, and you can trigger that protocol manually whenever you want. Because the body responds to simulated laughter so reliably, modern lifestyle medicine has begun treating the act as a literal medical intervention. This is a published medical paper titled The Laughter Prescription. It outlines a formalized tool used by physicians to combat depression and lower cardiovascular disease risk. Physicians structure this prescription the exact same way they map out pharmaceutical dosages or physical therapy routines, using the traditional FIIT model. This model breaks the treatment down into concrete variables: frequency, such as once a week; intensity, meaning deep belly laughing; time, requiring 30 minutes per session; and type. The prescription also accounts for a powerful social multiplier effect. Executing these routines in a group setting creates a dose-response trend that heavily compounds the cardiovascular and neurological benefits. By standardizing laughter into a rigid clinical format, doctors have removed the unreliability of waiting for a patient to be in a good mood before they can heal. We spend most of our lives believing that laughter is something the world must do to us, that we have to wait for the right punchline or a spontaneous moment of joy. But the science of gelotology reveals a very different reality. The faked laugh isn't a trick. It's a direct mechanical trigger for a biological protocol built into your own anatomy. You don't need to wait for the world to be funny to protect your brain and heart.
You just have to start laughing.